A Colorado boy only 14 years old when he shoots and kills a mother after a minor fender bender.
Ma'am, I'm gonna cut your seatbelt, okay? I'm Officer Lipper with the Denver Police Department, okay?
Just hours after shooting her in cold blood, he cries to his own mother at the police station.
I'm sorry, Mom. Stop.
A few weeks back, I did a video about this 14-year-old out of Denver, right? And the 14-year-old got sentenced and he got to go do life. He's like 17 now. He got to go do life in the penitentiary in the Colorado Department of Corrections. And he got to go do that whole life sentence because supposedly what he was convicted of was shooting a mother at a stoplight 10 to 15 times with an AR-15. And the woman had rear-ended, bumped the car, something like that. And the way that it was delivered is that he asked his friend, who was like his older homie in the front seat, asked him if he could get out and bust on her. They got out, they shot her, killed her, and he got found guilty of it. But there's a lot of people that believe that this 14-year-old, now 17-year-old, is innocent, though, that he didn't do it, that it was really the driver that did it, and he got pinned for the crime because the driver told on him, and now he's telling on the driver and saying it's not him or some along them lines. So when I did the video, you know, like I said, there was some debate about that. Now, this video I'm making y'all today got some new facts to it. They got some new footage. I just seen this video came out the other day on Law and Order or whatever the channel is. And it's got like over 2 million views already within like 24 hours. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peep this video together. Y'all know how we do it. We're gonna watch it together. We're gonna talk about it. Y'all can get in the comments, let me know what y'all think. But we're gonna watch this video. We're gonna peep out these new facts, and we're gonna see if this 17-year-old truly is innocent. But before we get to the video, hit the like button, sub up if you ain't subbed up, and let's get to it.
Today's case takes us to Denver, Colorado, where on February 20th, 2021, 32-year-old Pamela Cabriales was on her way home from dinner with a friend. According to local TV station KUSA, Pamela's family says she was extremely giving, passionate, and loving. They describe her as a social butterfly who was always there if you needed her. Pamela worked as a real estate agent, and she was also a mother to her 6-year-old son, Leo.
Está champagne, no?
This part does.
Yeah. Cool.
Hope you enjoy.
In pictures and in videos, Pamela seems happy and full of life. But all of that changed 4 years ago this month. Pamela was behind the wheel of her Range Rover, driving along Interstate 25 that goes right through Denver. When she stopped at a red light at an intersection of I-25 and Colfax, shots rang out. We now know the person shooting was then 14-year-old Remi Cordova. Cordova was in the passenger seat of another car that was driven by this guy named Nishan Johnson. Cordova had thought that the car had been tapped by Pamela's in a small fender bender. And according to court docs, he said, quote, "Can I bust on them?" Johnson then replied, "Do what you gotta do. That's on you." According to KUSA, Cordova got out of the car with an AR-15 and fired 15 to 20 shots into Pamela's Range Rover. Witnesses on the scene say at first they didn't even know what was happening.
You heard multiple pops. You went pop, pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop. How many of those do you think you heard the first time?
I'm
in your
gonna
estimation?
call it 5 to 7, perhaps.
Okay, and then you said you ducked down and heard several more pops. How many more do you think you heard?
Perhaps 3.
Okay.
And the break in between the two was a second or two
Okay.
that it paused.
Sure.
It wasn't very long.
And you never saw anybody get in or out of any vehicles?
No.
Okay.
I, in my mind, thought it was fireworks or something.
Sure.
And just wasn't paying attention.
There were more witnesses too, like Alex Martinez, who was driving home from a soccer game.
When he got out, he had his hoodie on, and he turned to face towards north, and all I see is the side of his forehead, so literally right here.
Okay.
And then that's when I noticed that he lifted up his arm, and his arm was being covered by the top of the car. And I'm in a Ford Edge, so I say it's a pretty big car. He was about like 5'6", 5'7", and that's when I noticed that he had a gun. So my first instinct when I heard it was to get down just in case if they started shooting towards me. I did not physically see the weapon.
Okay.
I seen the light from when you shoot the gun, and you have the light and the sound.
Okay.
So that's what I heard. I heard the toof toof toof.
So the light, like the muzzle flash, we call it. It's like the fire, like when you
fire
fireworks,
yeah.
or you fire a gun and
Yeah.
and it comes out. Those gases escape. And what color was that you saw?
When I looked over, the first time I heard it, I got goosebumps. So I looked over, and I just remember seeing white. So.
Okay, but you saw the muzzle flash.
Yeah.
Is what we call it.
Yeah, the muzzle flash.
Coming out. How many times do you think you saw flashes?
About 6 times.
Okay. Did you hear the person that got out from the right front passenger seat of that car? Did you hear him say anything?
No.
Did you hear them yell anything?
No, not really. I didn't hear anything at all because my music I had my music loud because I'm a big fan of music, and I had my music going, and then that's when I heard the first gunshot go off, and I look over, and then I just see the light, like the white, whatever you guys call it, and then that's when I got goosebumps on my arm because I just knew that. But when I was driving away, I noticed one in the rear mirror focus head out, like look back.
Tell me more about that.
So I was going, because my first instinct was to get away because I was scared.
Okay.
So I was going, and then I was trying to get away quickly as possible. And I look in the rear mirror, and I see the Range Rover in there. And I look in, and I see the Honda coming. And I just see a head go like this. But it had a hoodie on, so...
Okay, and was that from the front area of the car or the rear area of the car? So from the passenger side or driver's side?
Driver's side. It was a black hoodie.
Okay. So it came from the driver?
Yeah, the driver's side.
So put an arrow in red the direction he shoots at. And this sounds silly, but what leads you to believe he was shooting in the direction of that car?
Well, because when he started shooting, I noticed that the light from when he shot it was going backwards.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. So that I ducked down, and that's when I lifted up my head just to take a peek, and that's when I seen his arm on the side of the car facing backwards.
Okay.
After the shooting, Cordova and Johnson sped off in their car as first responders rushed to the scene.
Ma'am, I'm gonna cut your seatbelt, okay? I'm Officer Lipper with the Denver Police Department, okay?
Here's the scene from another perspective.
Here, I'm just gonna keep some pressure on him, okay? Yeah. Hey, she took quite a few about 4 or 5 rounds to the face.
How many? Is she the only victim?
She's the only victim. She's only bleeding. Let me see if I can find an ID in her purse. Yeah. I don't know how you want to do this. You want to put the seat back so we can get to her? Hey, Scott, hold that seat. It's not going. Is there anything behind the seat? No.
It's all electric. Hang on, I got it.
Is that her purse? Yeah, I'm trying to find an ID. Is there more than anybody else? No, it's just one person. Could you hold that open while I look through it, please? Thanks. Okay, grab the scoop real quick. Check in this pocket.
160, I got 7 gunshots to the front and 3 heavy bullets to the back.
Nothing.
Northbound or southbound off ramp wheels.
You coming head first? Hold on, let me go head first. Hold on.
Get the head out towards the cap. Head toward me. Here.
This next part is really tough. You can see the rear window of Pamela's Range Rover has been completely shot out.
counted 8 shots.
8?
Yeah, there's one right above the left windshield wiper. So that's 2 out of, like right there.
License plate, that's probably hers.
That's the same one as on the back.
Okay, that's probably hers.
You know, Dan, that piece right there is hella hard to watch right there. You know, that see that woman lost her life for a senseless, for nothing on a cold Denver night though. Cold Denver night, and I've rode that stretch right there all the way to Federal to, you know, that's just riding up the facts basically right there. I mean, like I rode by that place so many times, rode that same road right there, you know, and man, when I was younger, that used to be some projects over there, kind of right by there, and man, you know, that's sad right there. That's sad that this woman died like that, died in that freezing cold, and she didn't even die though. I'm tripping. She lived a couple days, and when 2 days later, I think it was, she survived all those shots. Just imagine that right there. That's somebody's mom, somebody's, you know what I mean? Somebody's daughter, the whole nine, they all family. Just imagine how the family, like, all behind this kid, right? Now, either gonna say it's the 14-year-old that did it or it's the driver. We still up for debate on that, right? We ain't got there yet. The courts have convicted the 17-year-old, right? That was 14 at the time, but yet, you know, the guy in the interrogation room said they had hoodies, and you know, he said he seen who he got out, right? He said he seen the passenger get out and fire, and then he said he seen the other person stick their head out, but they all had hoodies on. So it seems like for sure whoever was in that passenger seat. So we're gonna watch the rest of this video, but you know, seeing that part where her getting loaded into the ambulance and seeing how those bullets just ripped through the car, like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit gave me the chills watching that shit right there. You know what I mean? And that, you know, those cold Denver nights, they cold right there. You know that imagine that you just came back from being with your friends, you stopped at a red light, bump into a car, next thing you know, here go somebody shooting into your windshield. You don't even have time to think, react, or nothing. It's just, and just imagine that she's sitting there, damn. Thank God for the first responders and the people who show up on scene like that, who have the heart to help a person out like that in need right there. Because, you know, had that been my mother or somebody right there, I could only imagine, you know what I mean? I can only imagine how cold that would have turned my heart too, though. You know what I mean? But we're going to get back to the video. Let me know what y'all think down below.
Nothing.
Hey Jared, did you need the northbound or southbound off-ramp closed?
You coming head first?
Let's do southbound for now. Hopefully everybody going north will figure it out. Copy, one of them.
We'll get a couple of these. I'm going to take a couple fires.
You guys need an extra set of hands for anything?
Yes.
Just say when.
160 out of the DHMC1. We're going to have one coming down and 163 Baker's going to follow. Yep, are you ready?
Do we know how this happened?
No, other than somebody called in and said gunshots fired between 2 cars. I wasn't able to get a description of the other vehicle.
Okay, here she comes.
Even though Pamela was rushed to the hospital, she died several days later. Meanwhile, investigators were still working to track down the suspects involved in her shooting. The next day, a Denver police officer spotted a car wanted from a separate incident. There had been this gang shooting at a McDonald's where multiple shots were fired. And at the time, the cop didn't realize this car was also involved in Pamela's shooting. But they did know the people inside needed to be questioned. This led to a small chase, and it's something Nishan Johnson talked about during his police interview.
We're driving, and we get to the light. Police was on the side. They get to the side, the back of us, they get behind us. I take a right, they drive. Take a left, they keep following. And then I try to take another right, but the ice was too slippery. So I hit the curb, and that's when they turned the lights on.
Tell me more about the conversation in the car. Who notices the police either on the side of you or behind you?
I mean, we all did, to be honest, because when you're looking at when you at the stop sign, you're gonna look out your window.
Okay.
And then when I looked out the window, I seen the police pull up.
What is the conversation in the car?
Really wasn't no conversation in the car, but they could go.
I'm sorry?
I said it wasn't no conversation in no car, but go.
But go?
Yes.
Why was that?
I don't know.
Okay. Earlier you told me because you didn't have a license.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't have no license, but that's what they was telling me. You said what was the conversation?
Okay.
You feel me? You said what conversation did we have while the police was behind us?
And who was telling you to go?
Little bro. He was like, bro, just go. You feel me? I mean, don't have no license.
Okay.
You feel me? I'm not finna pull off.
Did little bro say he was hot?
Nah.
Did he
Just
say?
like, nigga, go.
Okay.
You know how nowadays this young generation gonna run from the police or do anything from the police now, you feel me? So
you
that's
listened to
how it
him.
was.
So you listened to him and you went.
That's how it was, you feel me? Because after they turned on their lights, everybody started panicking.
Tell me how they panicked. How did you know they panicked, Nishan?
Cause you know when the police get behind you sometimes and you know you ain't doing nothing, like me, when I know I ain't do nothing wrong, I wasn't really panicking, but what made me really panic was because they was all going like, bro, come on, bro, go. And I don't have a license. I was like, bro, that ain't true, cause I ain't stopping. Fuck it, come on. And I hit the car and everything, you feel me? So it was like everything happened so quick. And when he was like, go, bro, go, I was like, all right, fuck it. I don't have no license, none of that, come on.
Police eventually tracked Johnson down to a shed where he was hiding, and that's where they found some incriminating evidence.
You know why I'm asking all these questions? Because the shit you were found in?
So here goes this young cat right here that had a gang shootout previously. He in the car with the 14-year-old. He the one driving. He's the older one of everybody that's in the car. He's the oldest right here, right? And y'all see that he's singing. He's talking to the police willingly. This is, and looking at how he's telling the story, you know, you could see that he's probably lying a little bit, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Especially when they start talking about the shell casings, you know, being in the place that he was found and stuff like that. And he's like, nobody else was in there. You know, I peep how he moving. So right now at this point, I leave it up in the air. You know what I mean? Because I can see that he's already going against the code of what he said he represented, right? He knows it's life or death now, though. He knows everything's on the line. I think he's got that mental proudness enough to be able to realize that, you know, the jig is up. You done did some shit now, and now you facing the rest of your life. You know, the police has linked this shit to the murder. You got to figure out something. You got to, you know, this ain't checkers. This is motherfucking chess right now. So you've got to make. And he's singing. He's going to tell on the younger cats that's in the car, the 14-year-old, who might have looked up to him as like an older homie or something. Maybe he didn't even look up to him as an older homie. Maybe he just looked up to him as, you know, like a bro. You know what I mean? Bro, you know, big bro type of thing. Who knows, right? I don't know. Y'all can let me in the comments if y'all know. But long story short, this is the epitome of what the streets is, though, right here, because snitching is part of the game, and motherfuckers is gonna tell. They've been telling. They're gonna keep telling. And here we see, right? And you look at the young cat, though. He ain't got none of these tattoos they keep showing after he gets locked up, right? Because now he locked up and he still got that persona of being a gangster, right? He got the throat tat, some kind of hood. I don't know what hood that is. He got his throat hit. He got his shit hit by his eyes, face tats and shit. So here's a motherfucker telling on a senseless ass crime. I'm not condoning the crime. I'm just saying this is the motherfucker supposed to be a gangster that goes against the rules and regulations of being a gangster, right? You ain't supposed to be telling. He's in there telling. He's singing. He's telling on the youngest 14-year-old, right? So in my opinion, maybe the 14-year-old ain't do it at this point. I don't know. We're going to keep watching this video, though.
Those shell casings match at our murder scene. Can you explain that to me? And you said nobody's in the shed with you. Okay? You're in there by yourself. But the same caliber shell casing that's in the shed where you're at is the same caliber at our murder scene. Can you explain that to me if nobody handed you anything?
No, nobody handed me nothing.
Okay, so how did that end up in the shed with you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I ain't gonna cut it.
I don't know.
Okay? So what I'm asking you, this is your chance to be honest, okay? And I'm not saying you're not, so please don't be offended by that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I don't know is not going to cut it. As I told you before when we first started, it's a homicide investigation. I told you you're not free to leave. Okay? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you were there for something or somebody asked you to hold on to something, I need to know. Okay? And not just for myself, but for yourself. You got a kid, right?
2.
You want to see those kids grow up?
Yes.
Do you want to be able to hold them and not be behind glass when you see them? Or do you want them to come and visit you during yard time? Again, I'm not threatening you, I'm not upset with you, but I'm telling you, this is the road we're going down.
Now, I don't know if y'all peeped that right there. See, he hit him with, old boy got 2 kids right there. Look how that detective worked him right there. That detective said to him, he said, do you want to see those 2 kids again grow up, or do you want to see them during yard time? Do you want to see them behind glass? If you peep that cat though, peep how he's taking that in, how he's thinking about that. Them 2 kids right there, right? That's his only option. And most people would be like, okay, well, he shouldn't have been doing what he was doing anyway. He should have thought about that before he committed this crime or was even around that type of crime. But yet, motherfuckers ain't working like that. Motherfuckers ain't working like that. They caught up in the streets. They caught up in that go mentality, right? They just acting, they reacting to life. They're just, you know what I mean? Young cat right there, right? But them 2 kids made him think deeply about this right here. Is he gonna keep loyalty to the gang, to the young motherfuckers that he was kicking around, his friends? Or is his loyalty gonna come down to them 2 kids that he say he got, that he loved and he cared for, right? Because now he want to get out. He want to figure this is a hot case. The detective told him, you know, what do you want to do? Are you gonna tell me who did this murder and get a chance of maybe going home, or you gonna hold that in and face the rest of your life behind the concrete wall and never go home? That motherfucker's gonna sing. He gonna tell everything.
You're digging yourself a hole here. So if you have something, you know something, Nishan, now's the time to tell me. Okay, you tell me you were by yourself when you ran. Nobody else was in that shed. I asked you several times that question. You're adamant nobody was. Okay? So it's one of 2 things. Either you were there at that murder scene, or somebody gave you something to hold on to. So now's your chance to help yourself. Don't dig yourself a hole. You got 1 foot in this hole right now, Nishan. Okay?
Investigators spoke with Johnson for more than 5 hours on multiple occasions, and honestly, they didn't get very much, but they got even less info from Remi Cordova.
I'm going to advise you of your rights, and then I'm going to leave the room, and you 2 need to talk about whether or not you want to talk about this investigation or not. Okay? You okay, ma'am?
I'm sorry, Mom. Stop.
The woman next to Cordova in this video is his mom, because remember, he's only 14 years old at the time. As the detective walks back in, you can hear Cordova apologize to his mother.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's still February 21st, 2021. According to that clock, it's now 10:05 p.m. And I've given you and your mom opportunity to talk about this investigation. Let me ask you, did you understand the rights as they have been explained to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Do you have any conflict with your mom that would prevent her from providing you with guidance and advice about your rights? No? With these rights in mind, are you willing to talk to us about this investigation?
No, sir.
No?
No.
But even though Cordova didn't talk, investigators already knew a bit about him because he had a juvenile criminal record and was on police's radar as a gang member. Prosecutors later said that Cordova's motivation in Pamela's murder was to rise up the ranks in this gang world. Cordova's case eventually moved from juvenile court to district court because of the severity of the crime. He was charged as an adult with first-degree murder and first-degree attempted murder. That second charge was added because another driver had been in the line of fire when Cordova had fired the shots. Now, that person was not injured, so the charge became attempted murder. In November of last year, Cordova was found guilty. He's since been sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 40 years. Nishan Johnson has also been convicted for his involvement in the case. In June 2023, he was sentenced to 35 years in prison.
Well, they cut that video off kind of abruptly, right? They didn't get too far in depth and keep continuously showing the footage of Nishan Johnson telling on the 14-year-old, right? But they said the 14-year-old's motive was to rise up the gang world, is what they said, right? To rise up in the ranks. Now, seeing this video and seeing that last part where it showed Nishan Johnson, he got the blue flag over his head, he playing with the pistol, he got the beam on it, and then you see what the motherfucker did, right? He immediately went to telling on these kids, and he got a 35-year prison sentence. So he gonna be able to get out at some point in time. He ain't gonna do all day for this murder right here. He's not. He gonna get out at some point in time. He might be, you know, who knows? He might be in a faith pod. He might be in a never know. He gonna get out at some point. When he get out, he gonna be an old man, mid-age. However, prison probably gonna preserve him, and he gonna get back out here. And he told, and I'm not condoning this crime or nothing. I just want the world to see how dirty these streets and how pointless it is to be part of an organization like this that really has no direction for you other than to destruction, though, completely. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If you don't like that shit, that's the truth. I'm sorry, but shit ain't doing nothing for nobody. And the 14-year-old, right? Do I think he really did it? I think there's a very high potential, right? I can't call it, but he's being convicted of it. They had enough evidence at court to convict him, and nothing that shows otherwise that could go against it, whether he had a public defender or not. And I've seen people in the community, you know what I mean, that are, you know, well-spoken and they think he's innocent. Only God's gonna know at this point, but for right now, he's back there doing his time for the rest of his life. And it's funny because, you know, seeing how he acted during his sentencing and then seeing him at 14 with his mom in there, you know, it's like, you know, he was more saddened for his mom there. But, you know, I've been in those shoes before, right? For y'all don't know my channel, I've been incarcerated, got out. But I went to prison at 20, and you know, when my mother was in the back behind me at my sentencing when I got sentenced, they took a plea deal for 18 to 25, and they broke me off in the middle. They gave me 22, and I tell you, R.I.P. to my mom, but there's nothing like those sobs of a mother. You know what I mean? How deep and painful those are when they know that their child is about to go to prison for 20 plus, 30, 40, 50 years, right? That's a hard thing. You know, that the woman mother gave birth. This was her baby at one point in time. And then here, you know, his father, right? As we covered in the video before, was a real member, right? He was a real member. He from notoriety, got some notoriety in the city, well known, right? R.I.P. to him. And his mother, I don't know if she was a jump off, if they really had some, but you know, at some point, you know, you got to ask, like, if at 14, if you don't have control over your son, or in the streets got control over your son, that's going to fall on the parent, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate that his father's not here and that he died. And, you know, we could blame that on the lifestyle. I don't know the factors behind his death. I just know he was out there and was active, so I can only make my assumptions. But I want to give the parent the benefit of the doubt. But I know in today's world, I mean, damn, they got AR-15s, and it didn't even say in there, but they had double AR-15s. They had 2 AR-15s. And, you know, I found it strange, though, watching the interrogation of Nishan Johnson, how the detective kept asking him, you know, why was he holding on to something for somebody else? He needed to tell him. It almost sounded like you coercing almost, right? Because, you know, ain't nobody going to tell you, hold on to these shells, man. Come on, ain't no, A 14-year-old ain't gonna be like, hold on to these shells and you know they got a buy. Nah, motherfucker, you got the shells in your pocket because they probably belong to you and you probably, so, you know, it could go either way. You know, I know in the other videos I've been like hella, but it could go either way. Do I feel more like the 14-year-old did it for some stripes? I kind of do though, you know what I mean? Like I could see the young motherfucker getting out the car and being on that type of shit, right? He's 14, he young. But I can still see, after seeing this, I could easily seeing the body language and seeing the detective shit. Could have been, maybe it was Nishawn Johnson. Maybe he orchestrating a huge play right here, right? He done got himself 35 years, right? He done got the case off him, and now here he is. He struck up, he tatted up, he looked face tatted and shit. You know what I mean? Probably feel like he really somebody, you know, even though he done told and been in that detective room and for the world to see now at this point, right? But you know, that's that life right there, right? That any motherfucker that strives or attributes their life constantly to always being in the streets or being part of the streets, that is part of your world and that's part of your life, unfortunately. This shit is the most senseless, dumbest shit in the fucking world. And I mean, look at the comments, how they be dragging this, right? You know, this is a nasty case. RIP to that woman that lost her life. 10 to 15 from an AR-15. He needs to be behind bars for the rest of his life. Old enough to be in a gang. He's old enough to get the max penalty. 7.2K likes into that. Better never let that kid free ever. Ever, they said. People are only sorry of a crime when they get caught and face consequences. And that's how I kind of read it too, though. You know, you see him sat in the interrogation room, but, you know, when it came to sentencing, you know, whether he did it or not, I mean, you was there for it, though. You was there. So, you know, it's ugly over a fender bender is insane. He was looking for any reason to kill. The fact that he was packing 14 tells me his mom should be in jail as well. Not the broccoli head haircut should get him 20 years. Why 14-year-old late at night, drive a car? Clearly parental supervision was missing, right? So he did this for a vehicle he did not own, just a passenger. Brilliant. A coward with a weapon truly is a dangerous thing, for sure, on that note right there, big time. That kid must be so proud. He's really impressed the gang's board of directors. Perhaps they'll send him letters in prison. Perhaps they'll probably forget all about him and he'll probably make more friends while he's in prison than he had when he was out on the street. And the people in the pen will probably become his family after all these years. I mean, that's where he's going to live at. That's where he's going to be around. I mean, from 14 to whenever he gets out, if he ever gets out. I mean, after 30 years, they might give him a chance. I don't know. You know, laws could change. Who knows? But unfortunately, that woman is not here no longer, living and breathing. She's been taken away from her son. And, you know, RIP to her and condolences to the family, because the victim is the one that really hurts in this one right here. No matter how bad we want to sit here and feel bad for the 14-year-old, you know, he's guilty by association, if anything. And by the court of Colorado, he's convicted of the murder now. So 100. You know, there is no real remorse for anybody that committed this crime. You know, if it was up to the people of the world, they would have had this young boy stoned. And looking at the picture of him at 14, I mean, man, this is a young baby right here. Look how young that kid is. Like, I mean, baby, like, it's hard to believe he can even shoot that gun, right? But can't say that he can't neither, though. You can't, you know, either way is possible. And it seems like all the evidence, right? All the evidence is pointing to him. Previous shootouts, you know, juvenile record. And they didn't say it on here, but he had previous gun cases, you know, so he was already on the watch, the whole nine. So it's a terrible, I mean, at 14 years old, come on now. Come on, 14, so you bad as fuck. If you off the porch and you moving like that at 14, you bad as a motherfucker. Ain't no way your parents ain't recognizing that, your mom, right? Ain't no way, or whoever siblings, anything like that. But it really does make me wonder, right? Like, where are the strong male role models in this kid life, though, right? Like, I know his dad is a reputable, a real member, and I know the organization that he's could be from or around, right? And I wonder, like, did nobody ever step up for this kid? Like, did nobody ever like tie his shoes for him real quick and put him on game? Like, Like, why was he? I mean, of course, you know, somebody's gonna shun that off. Like, he was gonna do what he's gonna do regardless. You know, he bad. He's out there. But I don't always think that's true, right? It could be possible, you know, flip of a coin, right? But strong male role model or some kind of like, you know, real, like somebody that's really moving right, you know, to a degree, could have tightened him up. I would like to think, I'd love to give him the benefit of the doubt right there. I just don't think he had it, which is unfortunate because a lot of us ain't got it. And it's unfortunate, even though some of them older motherfuckers, they ain't even wrapped tightly. You know what I mean? Age at this point in the game really don't matter because a lot of motherfuckers that's made it far in the game and are living and breathing, you know what I mean? They what do they have to show? What have you done with your motherfucking life? Street cred don't work out here. The street cred that you got in the pen, the shots you call, the little homies you have and shit, that shit don't mean shit out here. Unless you really in that vile environment, right? But you can't go to no bank, you can't get no mortgage, you can't get nothing with none of that street cred. I want to know what y'all thoughts is about this case right here. You know, do y'all find Remi Cordova, the 14-year-old, do y'all think he innocent or y'all think he guilty? Let me know in them comments below. And hit the like button if you made it this far, man. If you got this much energy up out of me, man, that's the least you could do. Hit that, like, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.